Welcome to the wrap-up session. If you could please take your seats, we'll proceed. This is going to be a wrap-up session, kind of a perspective on the day. And as you kind of reflect on what we've learned and the discussions you've had, kind of reflect on how you can build that into your own work, that'd be great. We'd like to introduce the panelists. I'll introduce myself first. My name is Darren Marshall. I'm the AVP of Budget and Planning. I am a soon-to-be a graduate, I swear, in the ELP program at the U of U. Liz was one of my study buddies down on the end, but I'll just let the rest of the panelists introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Laniel Nieto. I'm the Assistant Director of Business Analytics here at the college. I've been here for 2.5 years, and I'm also a former alumni of the college.
Hello, I'm James Singer. I teach sociology and ethnic studies. I'm also a graduate of SLCC.
Hi folks, my name is Mikaela Mokofisi, and I'm the Assistant Director over TRIO Student Support Services.
Good afternoon. I'm Liz Rogers. I'm the Director of Faculty Development and Transformational Educational Initiatives.
Thanks, panelists. We're just going to get our little water bottles right here. Awesome, thank you. So, as we all reflect on today, we're just going to reach out to the panelists and see what different perspectives they have had. But kind of one of the first questions I wanted to ask is how anything today that stood out in your minds that you feel like you've learned something new or something that might have prompted some thought about how you can change, how you can bring something into your everyday workday. Lionel's first.
I'll take it. So I think that the biggest takeaway for me was how the college is working to give voice to the Hispanic and Latinx community and any racial minority in general, students of color. As I mentioned, as an alumni of the college, when I went through the college, this is more than 15 years ago, I felt invisible. I felt like I just kind of wanted to fly under the radar and get through it and get out because I didn't belong, right? I felt like I didn't belong. And that was something that I heard this morning that was so passionate for some of the speakers that if you don't feel like this is at home, it's very easy for you to simply turn back and leave, right? And so I'm very happy to see that as an institution we're acknowledging that there are challenges that students of color face. The Hispanic and Latinx community is a growing community in our county, and so it's great to see the college rising up to the challenge and saying, we want to help the students, we want to get them through college, and we are aware of their challenges.
Thanks, Leonel. Anyone else on the panel?
Yeah, first as a social scientist, I just had to say, Jeff, I love graphs and lines and projections and things. And that was just like, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to be half asleep, and I'm not. I'm really enthralled. So apart from that, no. Actually, it did show us the things that we were doing well. It also made us think about larger trends nationally and also things that were maybe more specific to us. And so as a faculty of color, as someone who identifies as Native American, and seeing the huge drop, right, from like 57% over that same time period, I thought, as we embrace the idea towards becoming a HSI college, that this will only spread out to our other populations because we'll have the skill sets, we'll have institutions that are set up, we'll have the knowledge that is available. And so that to me was very exciting. The other thing upon reflecting is, how do I take this into the classroom? How am I going to be teaching about this? Already it's talking about how do we inculcate this into curriculum? How do I better use examples, teaching pedagogies, approaches, theories, people experiences of the students and what they bring. What can I do to change to make that embodied? And the main thing that came to me, and I wrote this down in my inspirations for this was, it isn't just one culture that we would be highlighting. It's a plethora. It's so much more. It's different classes, social classes, gender, sexualities. It's different countries, different regions, all that's enveloped in there, and these experiences through generations. So as we embrace that, we only have that much more to gain as a community college. We have nothing to lose but our former selves. We can learn how to abandon the worst parts that America created, like racism and systemic racism, and run towards our best impulses, things like democracy and equality. And so as we move towards that, the essence of the HSI, not the designation itself, but what inspires it, then we're building the strength of our own community now and moving into the future. And that gives me a lot of hope, and I'm excited to become part of that.
Thanks, James. Mika, would you like to add?
Yeah, I think today we talked a lot about, or the speakers talked a lot about home and family and sense of belonging, which I feel that TRIO does really well, and I do feel that a lot of student affairs and SLCC spaces across campus do well, but I think today helped me to recognize what are our defaults, where can we do better, where are we not being inclusive, and how are we seeing students for all of their identities. They're both and identities. Students can be Hispanic and Spanish speaking, can be Hispanic and first gen, can be Hispanic first gen and low income, all of these things, but how are we making sure that our spaces and our work is addressing all of these identities that our students are bringing? How can we do that better?
Thanks, Mika.
I'll say just a couple things. I have really enjoyed listening to the passion that seems to have come out of today. And I would say from the perspective of the work that I do with the wonderful professional development teams that we have, is that we have a lot of work to do. And I'm excited about, even just today, all of the dialogue and all of the already attempts to collaborate and really bring us together in conversation around what we need to be doing, what we need to be doing better. And that I think there's just a lot of excitement around it. So I'm looking forward to hearing from all of the experts and collaborating to make this an HSI institution. So yeah.
Thank you. One thing I've really liked about each of the panelists, I think there's components of where do we fit in as practitioners or faculty, staff, in the big picture of just the institution and HSI. And I think listening is important. Listening to people who are not like ourselves, taking in those different perspectives. And we don't really know if processes are problematic until we ask or listen to other people and see how they are impacting them. I just have one other big question before we turn the time over to the president. What challenges do you feel we might be experiencing or coming forward from your perspectives as we move towards becoming an HSI institution?
Is that there? Oh, gosh, this scared myself. One of the things that I've heard a lot today in terms of a challenge is resources, and how are resources going to be allocated to support the college and growing into an HSI, and from staff and faculty, particularly Latinx faculty and staff, and how are we going to engage those perspectives and voices while also compensating, providing, the support that's needed. So we want these perspectives, and how are we going to be very mindful of the energy and time that takes. That's come up quite a bit in conversation, I think.
One thing that I was having just a brief conversation with two of my colleagues before coming in here was kind of about that. It was like, we will have the dialogues, whether they're official or not, and we will be able to say, these are the things we need. It's not the wants, these are the needs. If we want to be that completely in spirit as well as that status, then this is it. Anything that isn't like funded is taking that away, and we don't reach that goal. And so that's the big thing, right? Is overcoming that challenge. That I think we can get around it, but I'm not in charge of budget. I think that's where you're at. I think that was your thing. So hashtag just saying.
I'm a good resource there for information. Laniel or Mika?
I think just being authentic in this work, in becoming an HSI. Someone here just talked about it's an essence, it's a culture that we need to cultivate. But I think just bringing our real authentic selves to the work, in really grasping, in identifying as an authentic Hispanic serving institution, and emphasis on the serving. Are we actually fully and authentically and wholly serving our students?
Thank you.
I mean, to me, I think the challenge for the institution is going to be, how can we be more innovative in how we approach things? Being innovative is now something that almost every organization has to do. And if we want to be able to be nimble with regards to serving the student population better, we have to be able to be innovative in how we understand the population, and what kind of initiatives we get going to support not only the HSI population, but all students of color who are currently facing challenges in higher ed.
Awesome, thank you. Let's give a big hand of applause to the panelists. And also to all the presenters today. Some great sessions today. And we would just like to turn the time over to the president.
Thank you to the panelists. Thanks for helping us wrap that up. We have had, as Darren just mentioned, we've had many, many people involved in the day-to-day. Not just those that planned the event, Jesse and Jeff and Alonzo and Mary Lee and others, but also the presenters that brought their expertise. I, for one, went to 2 workshops that were just fascinating, so I hope that you all enjoyed that too. So for everyone that helped today and presented today, shared their knowledge, one more round of applause if you would. So I hope the day has been helpful to you. I hope it's strengthened your understanding about our goals in becoming a Hispanic serving institution. I hope it spurred your own thinking about the ways that you can personally and within your own department and division make adjustments and amplify efforts to contribute to that goal. And as a final note, let me just share that there are 2 events happening today, and in one case for a couple weeks, at our West Valley Center that celebrate various Latinx communities. So first, there's a photographic exhibit titled Beyond the Signs, which is on display through March 22nd. I encourage you to swing by the West Valley Center and see it. It's co-sponsored by our Dream Center and the Mexican Consulate, and it celebrates Afro-Mexican heritage as part of Black History Month. So it's a beautiful collaboration between multiple groups to celebrate that intersectionality we've been talking about today. And tonight from 6 to 9 at the West Valley Center, the 3rd annual Low Rider Bike Show will be held with a presentation by our faculty member, Hondo Espel from our Automotive Collision Repair and Finishing, and then a program and awards for a whole bunch of categories. So a great, fun family event from 6 to 9 at our West Valley. So thanks again to all of you who came, who are with us still on Zoom, who are here at the Grand Theater. I really appreciate it. It's going to take all of us to make this work, and I appreciate the energy that you bring to it. So have a great weekend. Go Bruins.